Perfect. I think we can get started. So welcome to everyone. My name is Mark Angeben. I head business development and regulatory affairs at European Data Warehouse. And today I'm delighted to introduce the Engage for ESG webinar, which is going to be focusing on a simple solution for EU taxonomy alignment in terms of reporting. Today also we are delighted to have one external speaker, Katia Alves from Unión de Crédito Inmobiliarios. Katia is with her team heavily involved, being one of the pilots of Engage for ESG. And then we have my colleague Gianluca Ginelli, also from European Data Warehouse. He is a structured finance data manager. He will explain the other part related to the development of the Engage templates, and more specifically the part on the renovation. And last but not least, also we have a speaker from Hypoport. We have Jais from Hypoport that is also in the business development area, and he will give us an update in terms of the latest developments in terms of the Engage portal. You probably remember that the Engage portal was launched on the 27th of March. But without any further ado, let me go through the agenda because it's quite packed. So the first part we will look into what are the type of efficiency gains in terms of adopting the Engage solution, both in terms of the templates, the European templates that we have developed and now are also registered. And then I will provide an update in terms of the latest ESG regulatory developments. The other important part, Gianluca then will focus on the template version 1.2 is still in the draft, but we just wanted to show you the part which is relevant for the renovation loans to increase energy efficiency of buildings. And then on point number 5, Jess will give an update in terms of the new features that have been implemented and also the upcoming features that are going to be launched later in the year. Last but not least, we'll look into how to become an Engage trial user. We have already received, for example, plus more than 80 requests in terms of the access to the Engage templates, and we are also doing demonstrations with each of the interested parties. And finally, we are going to have some closing remarks, and you will see also the upcoming events that we are planning, both for June and then also for September, starting from September later this year. Okay, so in terms of the Engage for ESG initiative, this is an initiative which is co-founded from the European Union via a LIFE grant. It started in November 2022 and will end later this year at the end of October. We have 6 parties. So we have Ca' Foscari, we have Dexai, ONU, which is part of NN Bank. We have Unión de Crédito Inmobiliarios and Hypoport also as a technology partner. And in terms of the scope of the initiative, it's really aiming to provide a simple solution for ESG reporting. And to be very specific, this is related to mortgages, and I should say residential mortgages, and also home renovation loans in terms of the alignment with the EU taxonomy regulation and also in compliance with the energy performance of buildings directive, the recast number 4. And finally, but very importantly also with the general data protection regulations across European jurisdictions. So why it's important to engage with this initiative? Because the reality is that we are looking at providing a kind of a comprehensive solution in terms of issues like the physical risks, the calculation of the green asset ratio, and the management of the transitions risks. So these are the typical questions or the points that we get when we are talking to interested parties in terms of how do I calculate the EU taxonomy alignment, what data is needed in order to gain insight in terms of the renovation potential. Am I meeting the green mortgage definition in terms of the reduction of the energy cost of at the minimum 30%, and how, most importantly, also how my, for example, portfolio compared to other portfolios, and what has been the performance in terms of the, for example, renovation. So those are the typical questions that the initiative aims to respond to aim to respond with the specific templates and then with the portal. So here you have a high-level overview of the Engage initiative. As you can see above, there is a layer, the legal layer, in terms of the GDPR, the taxonomy regulation, and the EPBD, with the two official pilots, with UCI that is going to speak about their experience today, not only on the Spanish market, but also the Portuguese market. And also we have NN Bank, the Dutch bank, which is also involved and has been already providing trial data as according to the Engage templates and taxonomies, and they have uploaded it in the specific Engage portal, sorry, which is the one dedicated to the data. I should also add that the Engage portal has a dedicated specific private area for each legal entity that is interested to have a third-party opinion on the EU taxonomy alignment for the portfolio, for the securitization, as well as for potentially the covered bonds. And the last layer, clearly, who are the beneficiaries of the initiative? Well, it should be the borrowers, because they should be able to have access to financing with better terms and conditions, in particular with better interest rates, and also the investors, because the investors can use the portal in order to compare and contrast, slice and dice the data to look whether also there are some data quality issues and not only the EU taxonomy alignment. So, discussing about the Engage templates and their structure, I think the most important thing is here to note that the whole work that Gianluca, Vincent, and the other involved in this initiative is really started from the regulatory, let's say, compliance. Let's say that you need to have when you report a securitization transaction. This is particularly for residential mortgages and for consumer loans. So the starting point was Annex 2 for resi mortgages, as according to the ESMA underlying exposures, and Annex 6 for the consumer part. And so what we have added as part of the initiative are actually a couple of building blocks. One for the mortgages for the acquisition of new buildings and existing buildings, but also lately, as Gianluca will show, the loans for the renovation of existing buildings, i.e. the renovation part. And also we have added a third block, which is the building block number 2, in terms of the European Investment Bank information requirements, the so-called green eligibility checker, in order to be able to capture funds for the green financing for the renovation wave of the European Commission. So what we are practically doing, the Engage templates, these are industry templates. They are not regulatory compliance templates, but we think that a lot of the fields that are included were also indicated in some of the letters, for example, of the Eurosystem staff back in terms of the consultation for the revision of the securitization regulation back on the 4th of December 2024. Next, I think it's important also to note that clearly we are under the radar screen of important policy makers and important authorities. This is basically an extract from the sustainability report of the Hellenic Financial Stability Fund that was issued last November, and they actually engage and they said, please start using the Engage templates and portal. So we are clearly actively engaged now with the Greek banks and the Greek financial systems at various levels in order for the Greeks to start using the templates in an active mode. Now I'm happy to pass the ball to Katia Alves. Katia, we would be greatly hearing from you in terms of what are the efficiency gains, what are the incentives really to be part of this initiative. Let's also not forget that Katia was the one that also created the name Engage. So why did you engage more than 2 years ago? And what are the benefits that you are experiencing right now after providing the data, using the Engage portal, and so forth?
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, Marco. Very nice to be here once again. So UCI, most of you know that I'm the head of corporate sustainability at UCI. And when we joined this project 3 years ago, we had for sure that the green matters and the ESG matters and taxonomy would be a reality, would become a reality. And at UCI, we were very concerned about uniformity of information that would be equal, no matter if we analyze it in our bank or in another bank or even in another country. So we would like very much to work in consistency of the data, in transparency of the data, and integrity of the data. So we joined this project and we call it Engage because we are truly engaged with elaborating a portal where several institutions from different countries should or could put up the data, portfolio, securitization, cover bonds, and whatever, and use a unique place where this portal will give us the feedback of if what the operations that you put there would be taxonomy aligned or not. These 3 years have been a tsunami in terms of regulation, of ESG regulation, as we all know. We have to report a lot related to ESG matters. The EPBD4, the CSRD, and several directives that came along these 3 years. Taxonomy, the Delegated Act, Taxonomy Delegated Act. So all of this made us going to a way that we should and we could improve our databases. And we thought that by developing the portal, we knew that this would be great stuff for investors. Because at the end, if we can provide the investors a second party opinion saying that, okay, I have my GAR at 10%, I have my green origination ratio in 15% aligned with taxonomy substantial criteria, the technical screening criteria. Nevertheless, if I have a second party opinion, a portal that will confirm and will say, okay, it's correct, its GAR or its GOR, the green origination ratio, is what they say because I put here all the information. So I think it's consistency, transparency, and it's good information, good database for investors, and at the end for all the market to know exactly what are the exposures of one and another relating to ESG matters. So the challenges were to have our database well organized, completed, accurate, good database, in order for the people that develop models, etc., can use the data to improve models, risk models, for instance, PD models, etc., etc. And the challenges have been those ones. And we honestly invite you guys to come along to the portal, to put your operations on the portal, to see what is the outcome of the portal, the taxonomy aligned, what is the outcome, because at the end will be a second party opinion, and I think it's good for the entities who put there the data, is good for investors, is good for the market, is good for transparency. We can compare between one and another. So that has been our journey, our experience, and we are very thrilled to announce the portal and to invite you all and all the market from different countries, European countries, to put the information there and to see how much are you aligned or not with taxonomy in a quick way. So Marco, for my part, I don't know if any one of you have any questions, if I can answer any question.
Thanks a lot, Katia. Very clear and very swift. I think it is clearly very important because what is happening in Brussels and the simplification effort is very important. We are clearly also in favor of the simplification effort from the European Commission, and we are trying actually to operationalize all the EU taxonomy in a simple manner. Let's not forget also that there are a lot of technicalities that are included in the questions and answers on the EU taxonomy, and we are in a sense, very narrowly focusing on residential mortgages and home loan renovations. Because maybe Katia is also interesting because you had experiencing of doing securitization transactions both in Spain and Portugal. And you are let's say the first one that had green RMBS transactions in both countries. So there are challenges in every jurisdiction. No? So even if those jurisdictions are close to each other, the systems are different. The EPC categorizations are different. So it's let's say every different country brings its own challenges, also in terms of accessibility of the information. Let's not forget that the PBD required open access of the energy performance certificates, but that has not yet, unfortunately, fully happened in certain jurisdictions. But without further ado, I think it's also very important to say that the European Commission, as Katia was mentioning, is very active in terms of the regulatory developments, because they continue to come out with, in terms of a roadmap for the EU taxonomy, in particular for the economic activities. And so you can see from here what the latest one, in a sense, in terms of the EU taxonomy disclosure. So Katia, clearly you're spending a lot of time also to follow this all these developments, no? That's one of the other challenges that you have.
Yes. So yes. Yes, a lot of time that we have to follow all the directives of the European Commission. It's a fact, and I usually say that it's true that we have to figure how to get the information, where to obtain all the correct information among databases from ministries and etc. Nevertheless, I would advise you all to, as I say several times, to obtain this information when you sell the loan, when you sell the mortgage, when you sell the loan, to obtain the information that taxonomy requires, to see if it's a new building, no new building, and to make a fluxogram, a process where you can identify easily on your origination if it is 15% best in class, if it is 10% best than the NZEB, if it is 30% improvement of energy, of primary energy demand. So to try to understand if the loan or the mortgage that you're selling in the beginning, your commercial team, it's the first ones that are in the front. So I advise everyone to work, structure finance teams with IT teams, technical teams, but don't forget commercial teams, because commercial teams are the ones that are in the front line, and they are crucial to obtain the accurate data. Because if you obtain the accurate data in the beginning of the loan, you'll get all the process well fed about with the data quality, with the data of quality, data quality. So it's we have to follow directives. We have to follow all the tsunami that Brussels is sending out to the world. But don't forget, never forget your commercial teams, because I think that's the key to success this kind of projects, and to go faster than the others. Because if we, okay, it's the commercial team, origination team, and then we have the IT guys, the sustainable guys, etc., and the model guys, okay, we'll do the work, but it's much easy, it's easier, it's much more easy to obtain the information in origination, data in origination. And that is IT with commercial team. IT, because you have to prepare your systems to capture the information, the EPCs, the energy improvement, the localization, the risk exposure, blah, 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 blah. Everything that is related with the taxonomy demands. But at the end, your origination team knows what to do. Your database is prepared to receive the data that you are collecting, and the work, I would say that 90% of the work is done.
Perfect. Thanks, Katya. That's very clear. One question from me, because unfortunately we know that a lot of the lenders and also the banks, they have legacy mortgages, residential mortgages, for which you were not requiring, as you said, now probably they all require all this information from notaries, there's several databases or advisors that are providing estimates. But what about your, for example, legacy portfolios? How?
Legacy.
Yeah.
Okay, so legacy portfolios, we have several. I would say that depends country to country.
Yeah.
So far as I know, there are several countries in the European Union that have already developed the ministries, the local governments have developed databases, public databases that say what is the EPC of the real estate. So, for instance, Portugal, we have the EPCs published. In Spain, we have also the EPCs published. And I imagine in France as well. And I imagine that each country is capturing all this information and to put it in the database. Because regarding EPBD, for all the countries must have this database, this public database. So
Yeah.
a bank can use for the portfolio, that things that they don't have this kind of information, they can use public information of the EPCs. This is one approach. The second
Okay.
approach, you can contract, you can buy, I would say, or can have a consultant that will define a methodology that would be related with the one that is used by the local EPC, that will define and will create a methodology to capture and to obtain all the EPCs of your portfolio, the ones that you don't have the information, for the oldest ones. And each country, I believe, from 2010, 11, 13, has been, it's mandatory to have the EPC when you make the loan. So in that cases, it's to develop what we did. We developed an OCR. So we had the information in our system digitalized. Nevertheless, we didn't have the field in our IT system. So we obtained all of this OCR to read the documents, to make a reading of the documents, and to capture this information. The EPC, the CO2 emission, the kilowatts per hour per square meter, the name of the architect or the engineer that developed the EPC, and the data. Because as you know, the EPC has a data expiration date, I would say. I think it's
Yes.
10 years, I believe, 10 years.
Correct.
So we made the OCR. So we combine UCI, we combine several. In Portugal, we the public database, because they had already mapped all
Yes.
the public database. For the ones that we didn't have, from the loans since 2011, we developed an OCR. And in Spain, we developed an OCR for loans from 2013. And we subcontract a company global. It's the company that developed us the model to obtain the EPC, estimation of the EPC, to
Yeah.
put it
Can you
in
give
our
us
portfolio.
Thank you. Can you give us a feeling of how long it took you? Because the other important factor here is that, yes, I think there are, as you said, public databases, but they do not cover the entire building stock in a certain country. I remember when we had on the 7th of May the presentation from the ministry, they said, for example, that 75% of the buildings in Spain, they are basically they belong to the three worst let's say, asset classes, i.e., the E, the
Yeah.
F, and the G. But what about the other stuff? Because the new buildings are they represent the one that are EU taxonomy compliant automatically. They represent a little bit more than 1% of the building stock in Spain.
Yes.
So how do you said you're getting estimates. So you're using you clearly have the address of the property, etc. But and you then have kind of matching with the similar type of properties that have
Yes,
a
we
real
have
EPC.
three, technically speaking, we have three models, I would say.
Okay,
The first one, we get the year of the building and
okay,
what year was the building constructed,
okay,
developed. And that's 50%, I would say, of match with the letter,
okay,
because regarding the year of development of the building, you know what was the edification code that was in
okay,
that time. So
okay.
you know for clear if it is a G, an F, a E, or a C, or a D. You have a line of a baseline. So it's the year, and then we have the year. We check in the big database if there is any other house in that
Yes,
building that we have in the systems, and it's not UCI, it's in the Spanish market. If it is appraised already, if it has been appraised, another flat, another apartment in that building, and then we check, and if it is that flat. Why do we do this? Because imagine that we have a building that is from 1950, for instance.
hmm,
1950, okay, for the 50s. Okay, but in the systems, we know that we have the market, Spanish market, has financed already an apartment, a flat, uh, 5 years ago. But this building in concrete has had a refurbishment. Old building. I know that he has achieved energy savings. So I know I make a match. So first thing, year of construction. Second thing, if I have in the database and information about any kind of apartment flat of that building, and
yeah,
if I have more information, renovations, isolations, renewables, whatever.
yes,
And the third, it may occur that I am financing a flat now that another bank has financed this flat 10 years ago, and they have all the information that I need. And this is a very big database. I'm talking about Global. Global is an appraisal company that makes valuations, a valuation company that
yeah,
makes valuations for all the banks in the market. So they
yeah,
have a big database to
yeah.
check the energy estimations of the buildings, the houses that we are financing.
Sorry, because we received another couple of questions. First question, you're also very good at capturing funds from the European Investment Bank, no? So you're very up to speed in terms of, for example, the Elena funds, no? Because you
Yes.
got it for. So what do you? Clearly, they are also built into the Engage templates because we wanted to help, so to be in a sense, as I was mentioning before, omnicomprehensive. But you need a lot of information, no, in terms of the renovations and also the invoicing, etc. No?
Yes, we need a lot of information. We have information. We have agreements with the IB, with the EIF, and we have also an ELENA on refurbishment buildings. Entonces, sorry. We have to report them. We have to report them several information regarding the EIB. We have a commitment that they bought us a bonus, they bought us a part of a securitization that we put in place, and we have committed that the money that they invested, I would say that they bought our part, is going only to refurbishment operations or to taxonomy aligned operations, I would say refurbishment or 10% more than the NZEB. So we have to report each 3 months. We have to report loan by loan the information about the energy consumption, air energy,
Yeah.
CO2 emissions, what was the price of the loan, what was the price of the house, or what was the full price of the refurbishment, and if it is a residential industry, etc., for them
Yeah.
to accumulate in their database as well. So we have we have this process already developed. The second part is Elena. We had with our rare project, we got an Elena to help us to foster the rehabilitation business in Spain, in five areas in Spain: Madrid, Barcelona, Valencia, Sevilla. Four zones in Spain. And this one it's much more information that we have to provide them. With which partner are we going with? What kind of work are we developing? Which with who is the architect? Who is the construction company? Who is the client? A lot of information, all also related to with this ESG ecosystem. At the end, we have to inform all of this ecosystem that we have.
Yeah.
And for that we have a specialized team that reports to me directly, to be able to report to these institutions, because if we don't report, we don't continue working correctly with them, and
Yes.
they need information for their reports as well, and for us to be aligned with our businesses agreements as well.
Yeah. No, I'm showing now also another consultation from the European Banking Authority regarding the amendments to the Pillar 3 disclosure under the CRR3. Clearly, this is, as you said, there is a myriad of developments, and in a sense, the engage templates are front-running the reporting obligations of some of the, let's say, of the EU taxonomy. Another last question that has come up, Katia, is for you. Clearly, you have a lot of mortgages, or let's call them green residential mortgages.
Yeah.
Why is more difficult to have to grant consumer loans for renovations?
No, no, it's not. It's not. No. I would say that we have started developing this business line 3 years ago.
Okay,
So,
it's new
and we
business
have,
line. Okay,
yes, it's a
okay,
new business line. We started very shy with pandemic, I think. And
okay.
after pandemics, we started investing in this business line. We started creating our ecosystem. We have to figure it out how could we achieve the citizen in the street. So we had a process. We have technical teams, commercial teams, marketing teams, to understand how to get to citizen, how to make them wanted to renovate their building. It's
Yes.
difficult.
Yeah.
So now we have already we have a good portfolio, but is a young portfolio. Is a very young portfolio.
Perfect. Thank you
And
very much.
okay, thank you.
No, because that's also it's important to note that as part of the initiative, we have both an bank and UCI have provided a lot of let's say data, but a lot for raising mortgages. less so for consumer. And as Katia was mentioning, this is a market that probably will develop more and more in the future
Yes.
across different countries, no?
Yeah, indeed, will be a must. The rehabilitation buildings is a must. Also, it means that it will continue grow, and to be aligned with European Commission objectives, the Fit for 55 in 2030, and be the first zero emissions continent in 2050. It's the only way to continue fostering the rehabilitation building. So.
Thanks a lot, Katia. Thanks a lot for also
Thank
sharing
you.
all your
Thank you.
experience over the last couple of years or more, a couple of years. And now over to Gianluca Ginelli, who is actually going to go through the Engage templates and most importantly, the part which is relevant in terms of the renovation. As Katia was mentioning, let's say the European Commission is trying to foster and reduce energy poverty, but clearly it needs a combination of public and private financing. So over to you, Gianluca, in terms of the templates and how you have developed the templates from this perspective in order to be EU taxonomy aligned.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Marco. Hi, everyone. Yes, exactly. In this section, we are going to explain to you a bit the structure of the Engage template. So in this slide, you can see that everything comes from the taxonomy regulation, in particular the Climate Delegate Act, where the activities are described. In particular, we focus on two articles, the 7.1 and the 7.7, that describe one about how we should, let's say, build a new house to have no impact on our environment, and the second one, the home purchase. And then there is another one, the 7.2, where let's say are described the activities about the renovation. So these are, let's say, the three articles we focus on. The 7.1 and 7.7 belongs to the Engage template 1.1 version and 1.2 version. And then there is also the renovation Engage template that contains some of this information, but obviously also the renovation data. Anyway, this is like a small detail. But what we can understand here is that we have included the substantial contribution criteria that the Climate Delegate Act contains, the do not significant harm article section, sorry, and the minimum safeguard. So overall, to let's say make a proper assessment of the loan position. Next slide, please. Exactly. So more or less, this is like a bit of repetition to what I have anticipated in the first slide, but we can, let's say, divide the Engage template in one part related to the Climate Delegate Act information, and another part regarding the loan information. Because you have to imagine that in the Engage template, you have two main building blocks. One building block about the loan and collateral information, and we are using the ESMA taxonomy that, let's say, it's like a market standard for securitization operation. And then we added a new section related to exactly the Climate Delegate Act. These two sections combined create the Engage template. Next slide, please. Exactly. So in this part, we see a bit better all of this information. So you have to imagine like for each loan, the information for the two sections I described in my previous slide. And overall, if you decide to become a pilot, or if you are interested in the project or to receive the taxonomy, you are going to receive exactly the full template, sample file, plus a guidance documentation that describe each point of our taxonomy. So overall, you will receive like let's say a very detailed information about the structure of the template. Yeah. Next slide, please. Exactly. So, and now we want to explain a bit to you what is, let's say, the flexibility of the Engage template. So, as we say, we have one section about the loan information and collateral information, one, let's say, information about one section about the Climate Delegate Act, but we are open to include, let's say, any other ESG regulation or let's say data points that might be interested for let's say making an ESG assessment. So you have to imagine that there are like there is the possibility to add information to the template and make data check, make some data quality checks, because at the end the purpose of the template is, let's say, to collect all of the ESG information in one place, the Engage template, and then let's say provide an output that can be used for the different purposes. So this is basically what you have to imagine. At the moment, we have, I repeat myself, we focus a lot on the Climate Delegate Act, but there are, let's say, other points that we are developing. But overall, you have to imagine really a flexible tool that help you for making the ESG assessment. Yeah. Next slide, please. And here in the next two slides, you are going to see a bit, let's say, the structure of our taxonomy. So for the participants that are familiar with the securitization regulation, they already know this. So this is like the Annex 6. So for the consumer loans. We have decided to put this on the screen because now we would like to pass you a bit of information regarding the renovation. So we imagine the renovation like a consumer loan. And this is the part where you have to provide information about the loan. This is like a screenshot. There are many more data points, but for those of you that are familiar with securitization, this is not a problem because you already, let's say, have a familiarity with this kind of template. But for the Engage template, we have decided to reduce some of these fields, so some of the data points we request. Why? Because not all of the points are relevant to pass, let's say, a bit of information about the portfolio. So in the Annex 6, you have all the information that a securitization regulation require for making a securitization, but we selected a subset of data points, should be 22 points for the um, uh, Annex 6 that simply describe the loan position. And this is like really a basic information that you need to provide. Next slide, please. And here we are in the second building block where you have the engage information. In particular, here we are talking about the Article 7.2 of the Climate Delegate Act. So, which to describe briefly what we did. So we read the article. We try to understand and the FAQ obviously provided by the Commission, and then we try to translate what the article say into data points. And in particular for the 7.2, it's quite clear because you have to compare the primary energy demand. So the primary energy demand pre-renovation and post-renovation, and you should achieve at least an improvement of 30% of the primary energy demand. So you have to imagine that after, let's say, providing this information, another let's say aspect, the platform is able to assess for each loan if it's compliant or not with the Climate Delegate Act regulation. In particular, we are talking about here the 7.2, and creates a sort of report that tells you the alignment of your portfolio. This is like the benefit we see. So no need to, let's say, manual checks or let's say IT implementation from your side, but simply an extraction from your database to put it into our platform. Another point that I like to mention is the CO2 emission. It's not a point required by the Climate Delegate Act, but it's something that we notice the market, let's say, is willing to ask, and data provider willing to share. Yeah, if they have the information, obviously. I guess this is the end of my part. I'm happy to pass the word to Mike to Hyperport, and if you have any question, obviously you can reach out us. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Gianluca. Yeah, my name is Gijs from Hyperport as a business analyst. I'm working on our beautiful portal, the Engage portal, where the templates that were talked about and the data where Katja already talked about are all coming together to make output that can be reused again. So a small little summary about stuff we already talked about in earlier sessions as well, but it's a portal, a web portal based with the ability to enable learning institutions to upload and assess the alignment of the loan portfolios with the EU taxonomy. So indeed, with the templates, following the formatting and the logic that is stated in the guiding documentation, you can give it to the portal and we will automatically check what the alignment is based on the different parts of the EU taxonomy parts and also on the different criteria. We have made sure that we can give access and rights to multiple different stakeholders with different view rights and different upload rights with different programs to make it yeah, as applicable as can be for you to use. Gianluca talked already a bit about the portal output and in earlier sessions, but there's basically two types of different output. First one, next slide, please. Because I think it's here, yes. So first it's the data quality report, which is a more in-depth check on the data quality within different data points within the template. So this is not necessarily based on the EU taxonomy and the rules stated in there, but more, do we see any inconsistencies within the loan tape by ourselves that might not be as logical as you might expect. The first example that is given at the top is the prime energy demand of the building equal to ND5 when the nearly zero energy building threshold is populated, which shows that, hey, we would expect both to be filled or both to be empty in case information seems to be there, but it might be incompletely filled. And so we do multiple checks in order to also let you know, the user that uploads the data, what might be improved on within the data set that has been provided. So you can also go back to your own operations, the data team, to your colleagues to see if data quality can be improved upon. The next slide, please. And then the second output, the one that's all about, in my opinion, the EU taxonomy alignment report, where we will check the uploaded data to the different parts and the different economic activities with indeed the SEC, the do not significant harm, and all the criteria based on the different types. Of course, the slide now shows quite of an overview, so I would also suggest you trying it out yourself so you can see what it actually entails and what the numbers are that you get back. Next slide, please. So yeah, upcoming features. Also, last time we already talked about them a bit, and I'm happy to inform you that the first one is already added to the portal. I'm going to give a small demo after this slide, but that indeed after the first one, which are the notifications, we work on the Engage templates version 1.2 that Gianluca spoke about, but also the ability to just use the portal as a file share to upload draft files to share in a safe manner the items that do not need to be checked yet into for the two reports, so that it is easily shared within colleagues, but also shared with investors or any other parties that you granted access to. So I'm now going to take over the screen if I'm able to. And I believe you can see my screen now, where we have a added functionality now with the notifications, and we also ensured that we made the notifications on a certain level. So for example, I've made a dummy program, we call it Hypoport Bank, with a couple of different deals, portfolios, however you as a user or as a lending institution want to structure this page, where you can make sure that you're notified as soon as a colleague uploads the engaged data template. It's not that many buttons of not many clicks of the button, but after this and a little refresh, you'll see that you will get informed as soon as somebody uploads within this portfolio, the Belgian mortgages. If you would, for example, say, I want to be notified about every of these 4 deals, then you can also do everything at once. Then I have to reset this one. And make sure that you never miss any new data uploads in the future, because you will get an email notification. Of course, this information is also stated in the manual, just like the information how you add a file, how you seek contact with us if you have any questions, and how you download the reports after they've been after the data has been reviewed. So yeah, small little demo. I'm gonna stop it again to give the floor to, I believe, Maitana for the last bit of this webinar on how to become a test user.
Thank you, Jais. That's great. So as you can see, we the more portal users, the more features we are adding. Clearly, we are also demonstrating with the various interested parties that have requested to have access to the Engage templates that actually have now been registered with the Spanish intellectual properties register. So in terms of what's happening next, it's what is important, I think, is clearly keeping abreast of all the regulations and all the directives, the changes, so the questions and answers that are constantly updated from the European Commission. And the Engage templates, they are not set in stone. They are industry standards, and so we will continue to update them to take into consideration the latest developments. This, as we said at the very beginning, are relevant for mortgage portfolios, RMBS, but also for cover bonds. And they are also in a user-friendly format in CSV or Excel. And we think that these are a blueprint for the taxonomy reporting obligations. So we are trying to, as Gianluca was mentioning earlier, to be as detailed as possible, but also to try to minimize the number of the fields, clearly also having a description very similar, if not consistent, with the methodology of the ESMA underlying exposure templates. And so the other interesting thing is by creating, let's say, a European standard, which is not country specific, we're also trying to create a standard that can be easily used by the investors in order to contrast and compare the information which has been developed. I think we are running, let's say, close to the 1 hour time. So as mentioned, the templates are now being requested. Actually, it's not 70, but 80 institutions. We are here available, Gis, Gianluca, I, Katia, and others. And we actually also going to be in Barcelona at the next Global ABS together with also Martijn, the other pilot from NN Bank. We're going to be available to explain to you some of the nuances, some of the questions that you may have regarding the procedures, and how to become a pilot, how to test a specific portfolio, covered bond, or securitization transaction. Clearly, you need to sign a specific standard legal agreement. You can also send some very simple sample files with only a few lines to start with, but then you can enrich the data in the Engage portal going forward with much more information in order to obtain the output reports in terms of data quality and the alignment report. And as Katia was mentioning, most of the users are using the Engage for ESG solutions in order to have a kind of a third-party opinion. So in terms of next event, we are planning for an event in Venice. This is also part of another event that the Ca' Foscari University is organizing there. It's called it's a Greta event, and it's related to the geopolitical risks. So the Engage for ESG solution webinar is going to be in the afternoon. It's an in-person event like the one that we just had in Madrid with several persons attending. So it's going to be the whole afternoon on the 24th of September. We are going to be able to share probably with you the agenda over the course of the next webinar, which is planned for the 24th of June. Again at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and where we are going to have also another guest speaker focusing on the regulatory developments and keeping abreast of all the changes. But as I was mentioning, please be in contact with us. You can see here the website. You can also look at this video will be uploaded later this week on the Engage website. And you can also see a lot of videos and other all the presentations on the website. So if you feel free to access the website to also see this presentation, which is going to be uploaded there. So I would like to take this opportunity to thank Katia first and foremost, but also Jais and Gianluca that have added and explained to you further into the detail where we stand in terms of the initiative. And clearly, feel free to contact us. You can see also the emails, the personal emails here, and the general contact email engage@eurodw.eu. If you want to have a demonstration, if you want to speak to us, or if you have also some technical questions in terms of how some of the industry players, clearly like the more advanced, like NN Bank and UCI, are reporting the information as according to the EU taxonomy and as reflected in the Engage templates. We are now at the 1 hour mark. Thank you very much to everyone. Have a great rest of the day, and let's be in touch for the next event. Thank you very much, and have a great rest of the day.
Thanks.